Hey there, welcome to my YouTube channel Gaurav Chikara Garden. To my existing subscribers, I cannot thank you enough for the support, for the kind comments you've been making sure I get on my videos. It's overwhelming. Alright, and if you're not subscribed, I would urge you to go ahead and hit that subscribe button, because the content I'll be bringing in would be knowledgeable, would be entertaining, and yes, it would help your garden, your balcony, and your plant area. Alright, today as you can see, we will be talking about cacti. So let's get into it. Here is the harvest. I've got two major cacti here. One is called prickly pear. I'm sure most of you are aware of it. The other one is Cathedral, which is kind of a cylindrical form. In fact, both are cylindrical. There is another kind which is majorly there are three kinds. One is columnar, which gives you cylindrical-like structures. And the other one is wherein you get a ball-like structure in a cacti. So both of mine here are columnar. Alright. The important thing to remember is when you are getting a cutting of cactus, you need to snap it. Cutting would be kind of, if you can avoid it, it's great, because snapping will give you the best cutting and it would give you the best results. So snapping is a great option. So what I'm trying to show you here is it hasn't been cut. I just use my hands, fingers, and I snap these cuttings. So that's how you gotta do it. And now the second most important thing you got to remember is make sure you let them callus for at least 3 days in a semi shaded area. There could be sun, but not too much sun, probably 1 hour, 2 hours of sun, and then it should be shaded and it should be kept out. Let the stems callus properly. Otherwise you might, when you pot them, they might rot. And normally when I pot cuttings, I kind of a day prior, I make sure I pour a lot of water in the pot so that the next day when I put the cuttings, the soil is moist enough for the cuttings to kind of feel the humidity, which will kind of put them in a condition wherein they can start growing the shoots and the roots. But here I have kept the pots dry, and what I'm trying to do here is I've used only cocoa peat. The reason for that is because I'll be repotting them. So if you use sand, they will survive, but while repotting you might destroy the roots, because roots are very, very brittle in this case. So make sure you use cocoa peat so that when you pull the cuttings out, some amount of soil comes with it and you don't destroy it. So I repotted all of them. Now I'm just trying to pot some of these so that this would be kind of a specimen. I have got like 55 cuttings right now, which I'll be starting, but 3 of them I'm keeping just to make sure that after a couple of months, when roots have grown all good, we can see it without even pulling the cutting out. So that's the thing. What you need is you can take 2 cups. In 1 cup you put your cutting and make quite a few holes underneath the cup wherein you'll be putting the cutting, and then put it on top of the other cup, which has again got the soil. And when it comes to watering, avoid watering the pot which has the cutting. Just keep watering the cup which is underneath. So that way roots will find its way, roots will find their way from one cup to the other. So once you put the cuttings in the cup, as I told you, I did not water the pots or the cups a day prior. What I do is I leave them like that for 2 days. On the third day, I put some water. And it's a misconception when you're starting a cacti, you need to put water every third or fourth day. While forming the roots, they need some kind of moisture, right? So thinking that, okay, I have got the cactus cutting, I just put it, and yeah, 5-6 months later I'll have roots and it'll be growing and I don't need to put water. That's not the case. When the cactus is young, you need to give it everything it needs. Obviously the sun, water, and the right kind of environment. So these are ready. So I've got like 2 prickly pear and 1 cathedral here. So let me take you to what we are looking at after 3 weeks. I'm expecting few roots to be seen here, and yeah, let's try and get to the bottom of it. Yeah, I can see a small root, one tentacle, white colored, coming out. If you are starting any cutting, this is just for your knowledge that I'm pulling them out. Otherwise, I would suggest when you start a cutting, do not disturb the cutting or the roots in any manner. Just let them sit for 3-4 months, and once they show some considerable sign of growth, you can repot them, not before that. So what I'm trying to do here is just to show you that how these cuttings are coming up. You see, 2 of them have a good amount of growth of roots. Small, but as you see, the cuttings haven't rotted at all, so it's a good sign. Though I would say that cathedral cactus took longer than the prickly pear to show some roots. Right there. And the prickly pear, not just the beautiful flower, the beautiful orange yellow flower, it has kind of you can also miss all the spines because they are non-existent, so to say. but in Cathedral they are very prominent, and yeah, you need to wear gloves when you're dealing with it. Alright, so these are some of the cuttings after 1.5 months, and they're doing pretty good because I don't see any sign of rot or cuttings going bad. So again, I'm doing something which I shouldn't be doing. As I told you, when you're starting a cutting, do not disturb them for at least 2-3 months before they show some good sign of growth, and then you can kind of repot them. But this is just for your knowledge. I'm trying to show you how they go about showing some roots. And I would need to remind you that you can start cacti in sand, no problem, but if you're planning to repot, then go with just cocoa bean. Some are even so hard to pull out because the growth of the roots have been so amazing. Wow, there you see those white roots. So given the results I have been looking at for these cacti, I would say once you start a cutting, it would take at least 3 months before you can see the exact amount of root growth which allows you to repot this or think that your cutting has been successful. So as you can see, some of them haven't rotted, haven't shown any growth, but that's okay. It's just that it depends on cutting to cutting. If the cutting is looking fine after 2 months, don't be disheartened. It will survive and it will show some signs sooner than later. So persist with it, and gardening is all about patience. So if you have put in some effort, put in your time, just stick with it. Keep doing things which you researched about or some plant expert has told you about. Just stick with it and it will show you the results. Alright, thank you for watching. I appreciate your time, and yes, don't forget to like this video, and yes, subscribe. I'll see you again. Thank you for watching.